Hello, future APLAC students. We are holding our meeting just to give you a bunch of information and make sure everything's transparent and clear in terms of what your summer work will look like. To introduce myself, I am Mr. Ebert. I have been teaching at Bloom for 5 years. This will be my third full year of teaching APLAC. I may know some of you and some of you may know me because I have taught freshman English for the past 2 years. I've also taught reading and American literature at Bloom. I really enjoy teaching this course. Writing and having discussions full of critical thinking are really important to me, and I hope to share in that experience with all of you.
Mr. Cook, getting into my 13th year teaching at Bloom and my 19th year teaching altogether. I believe this will be my 5th year teaching AP Language and Composition. It's definitely one of my favorite classes to teach. I feel like we get into things more deeply than I do in a lot of my other classes. And I know there's a reputation that this class is extremely tough. And I'm not going to tell you that it isn't. You should be prepared for rigor. But at the end of the year, most students say they really enjoyed the experience, and I'm hoping that you will too. So for starters, we just wanted to make sure that you understood a little bit about the summer work. It is mandatory. It will go into your first quarter grade. So we just want to make sure that you take it very seriously and that we communicate with each other. So before you start any of the assignments, there are a few things to see. Attached to the email that this video is on is this document that kind of breaks down the pre-assignment requirements and the assignments themselves. So one of the first things you'll want to do is sign up for Remind 101. You just text 81010 and you text this message at APLAC20. The system's going to send a reply message. Just follow the directions. I'm sure most of you have done this before. If you don't have a cell phone or the data to do that, you can also sign up through email. Just go to remind.com and then bring that code. Second thing you'll need to do is to sign up for our summer APLAC Google Classroom. Again, you're juniors. I assume you've done Google Classroom before. So you'll simply join, and our join code is there, 2AR3YAW. Number 3 is to watch this video. You're already doing it, so you've already accomplished that task. When you get to the Google Classroom summer page, one of the first things you'll see is this Google form. It's also linked in this email, and it's just a simple form acknowledging that you're aware of what the summer work is. So you can just give us your name. You'll acknowledge that you've read this. And then the second page asks for some information about parents and guardians' names, email address, so we communicate with them as well. So sign up for Remind, sign up for Google Classroom, complete that online student acknowledgement form. And then the final thing you'll need to do before you start assignments is to purchase William Strunk's The Elements of Style 4th edition. So make sure it is this 4th edition. It's a silver book. It'll say 4th edition at the bottom. Having that same edition will help to make sure we're all on the same page as we study that. And that brings us to the assignments. Or anything to add, Mr. Ebert?
No, I was just going to say, be mindful of places like Amazon and other online retailers are having, substantial delays in terms of getting non-essential supplies to people. So, be mindful of, when shipping dates might be, but you should be able to find that Strunk edition moderately cheap on Amazon in particular, or just a quick Google will find those. But be mindful, especially with due dates and other things related to Strunk, that you're getting that book as the kind of sheet says here, in advance of whatever needs to be done.
And if you're worried in any way about being able to get a hold of the book or to pay for the book, just please reach out to Mr. Ebert and I, and we'll make sure we work something out. So in terms of assignments, there are technically just 3 assignments, although there are multiple parts to each one. So in the first one, it's going to be a discussion board post on Google Classroom. So that will be posted the last week of school. And there are 2 due dates associated with that. The first part is Friday, June 5th, and the second part is Friday, June 12th. So there will be some documents attached for you to review. One will be a slideshow called An Introduction to AP Language and Composition. Another is a copy of our long form course syllabus, and then some letters from former AP Language and Composition students. And then you will, in part 1, there will be a question to respond to in 2 paragraphs. And then in part 2, you'll respond to things that your classmates have said, and you'll respond to the things that your classmates have posted in response to your original post. And that will be 25 points. Anything
Now,
to add, Mr. Eber?
Yeah, now I think it is important. We have especially posted a discussion board rubric. That is the rubric that you will be graded by. A lot of students, you know, the feedback we get is, I didn't know I was being graded on this, or I didn't know I was supposed to do this, or I didn't know, you know, I was going to get points off for that. So please make sure that you are reviewing all of those materials, especially the rubric, to know what you're up against, to know what the expectations and standards are by which you're being graded. I think that, you know, success starts and ends with that rubric, making sure that you're doing everything you need to. We do adhere very strictly to that rubric, so ensure that you know, understand it and know what your expectations are for that assignment.
And then the second series of assignments are all about the elements of style. And you may have heard about the Strunk exam. If you haven't, you'll hear about it in some of the student letters. But this is a style guide to help improve the quality of your writing. And we're going to be having the big exam first quarter. So we wanted to do something a little different and provide you with an opportunity to practice before you sit down and take that exam for the first time. So we broke it down into 6 different sections once a week. And so you'll see these will be kind of worksheets related to the rules, and it'll make a little more sense when you get the book and you're looking through it. It'll ask you to apply some of those rules. Now, chances are, if you're typing this, you're going to start getting suggestions from Grammar Checker. It'll underline and tell you that something is wrong, and that might be a good guide for how to correct it, but be careful, because this is a style guide. So a lot of the suggestions in the Strunk book don't necessarily get captured by a Grammar Checker on a computer. Sometimes they might think something is fine when Strunk says, no, it should be changed, and vice versa. So don't rely on that or use that as a shortcut. Ultimately, putting in this practice is just going to help you get a better grade on the exam. When you're in class, it's down to the wire. So, and then anything to add?
Yeah, and also just be mindful of the due dates. You know, summer, you know, it is a natural time to relax, but it is also a time that, you know, we're providing summer work so that we don't get slack in terms of any of our skills and abilities. So budget your time, be mindful of these due dates. Again, none of the work, especially if we're giving you about a week for each section of rules, none of that work is particularly you know, worthy of 7 days. We're just trying to give you an abundance of time, a structured schedule by which to get this done. So, you know, you could get everything done ahead of time based on as things are posted, but you know, just be mindful of that, you know, going along with also what Mr. Cook said, along with the suggestions. So, you know, sometimes those suggestions can be an easy way out, but sometimes they also go against what Strunk and White are establishing in their rules. So please be mindful of those. You know, again, consider that this is not just to get the right answer. This is ultimately to make you better writers as you're moving into your junior year. So as I'm sure some of you have heard, that Strunk exam is particularly hard or difficult. All of this practice is something relatively new that we've done for you know, this crop of students. So make sure that you're practicing that in addition to reviewing these rules. And you know, Mr. Cook and I both think that you all will be in much better shape than even students in the past.
And then the final assignment is going to be an introduction to rhetorical analysis. You're going to revisit something that you most of you read when you were a freshman, and there will be some questions to fill in as you go through the speech that will relate to rhetorical analysis, which is one of the major skills that we'll be working on throughout the year. That assignment is due on Friday, August 14th, so it should take us into the beginning of the school year. Last thing I did want to kind of stress that we didn't really talk about is this idea of late work and incomplete work. In AP Language and Composition, we're trying to prepare you for that freshman year in college, and that means that late work is not accepted. Incomplete work is not accepted. So you will not receive points for anything that is late or anything that is incomplete. So please, we cannot stress enough, follow these deadlines, complete the work. Even if you're not sure what to do your best to fill it out so we can provide the feedback to help you out. This will make a big impact on your grades starting the year, but there will be opportunities to improve as long as you've taken care of this work. You'll find yourself in a better position.
Yes, to piggyback onto a lot of what you just said there, Mr. Cook, we try and be as transparent and structured as possible going into the summer work, trying to keep things manageable, trying to keep things, just clear for you. So, I think it is incredibly important to know that late work, will not be accepted. So, be very specific and careful with your time. Try and work as efficiently as possible. Budgeting your time, scheduling things out is incredibly important. We as teachers value our summer vacations just as much as all of you do. But we are very intentional with the work that we're giving so that you are prepared when we come back in August and we can hit the ground running with the other lessons and materials that we'll be experiencing.
And the final thing I would say is just to remember, we wouldn't ask a lot from you if we weren't willing to give a lot. So over the summer, if you have trouble with any of these assignments, please reach out to one of us, both of us. You can reply all to this email. It will only send that to Mr. Ebert and I. The rest of you are blind copied. You shouldn't be afraid to reach out. We're here to help. So if you have any questions, email me, email Mr. Ebert, or as I said, it's better, email us both. Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you all soon.